Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. Today I'm channeling messages to you about the next chapter of your spiritual journey. So please take a deep breath, drawing the energy up your spine, creating a clear and open channel. As you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with Full System Cleanse. Group number 2 in the center with Soul Family. And group number 3 on the right with Divine Masculine. Your timestamps are listed below in the description box, as well as information about personalized readings, tarot and astrology, Reiki energy work sessions, as well as all of my tarot and oracle decks, journals, and books that I have published for you guys to bring home. So, thank you so very much for being here. I'm so grateful to you. I'm sending you all my love, light, gratitude, and I will see you at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, Group 1, Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at the next chapter of your spiritual journey, and you selected the first group with the Full System Cleanse card. Now, as you know, this is my Light Codes Oracle deck, so I'll be using the Light Code to scry for you. It seems that the next chapter of your spiritual journey is going to be one that honors all of the space that you have been clearing. I'm getting this energy of you that is both exclusive and also like viral in a sense. So some of you might be content creators or influencers. Some of you might have a lot of eyes on you or just be very popular in a community. There's kind of this energy of being elusive and also very popular. Essentially, there are a lot of things that are happening in your energy. There's a lot of value to your energy specifically. But with this being the case, there are a lot of things in your energy that are not of value to you. It's kind of the tale as old as time. When someone has something valuable to offer, many people want to be around it. Sometimes it's innocent, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's comfy, sometimes it's not. But the next chapter of your spiritual journey is a big cleanse of all of these energies. Yes, you have a lot to offer, and so the one that should benefit from it is you. This does not mean that you don't pay it forward and be humanitarian, but this is saying that if you have a lot to offer, then you should not only see that, but you should also be the one that benefits from it. So we have Full System Cleanse here for you. Now, group number 1, there seems to be this momentum that's gaining up underneath your energy. The next chapter of your spiritual journey is going to be one where you notice that paths are cracked wide open for you. This will be something where you are able to see the path ahead where you're walking, and others might not see the path that you're walking, but they'll see you walking in a particular direction. And so they might stop and stare, trying to figure out the logistics behind what you're doing, where you're going. And they might also want to blindly, cluelessly follow you as well. So at this point in time, you're kind of balancing out this dynamic between, again, exclusivity and virality, or being viral, like your energy being huge, being very, very strong, very, very potent, and also wanting this privacy, wanting this exclusivity, pulling back your energy. But also when you do put your energy out there, it doesn't just affect the vibes around you. It doesn't just affect a person. It doesn't even just affect a room. I'm getting it affects a whole community, or it affects a whole town. For some of you, my grid workers, my starseeds, you might even affect planets, whole planetary systems. So when you pull your energy back, it's really, really strong, but also really, really felt. I'm hearing when group 1 is nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found, everyone feels it. This is silence speaks the loudest. But this is pertaining to the next chapter of your spiritual journey, group number 1. So this, with the cleansing that's going on here, there seems to be this energy where when everyone took a hard left, you took a right. But they're saying that the results that come from doing not what everyone else does gives you the results that are not what everyone else has and receives. But this is a good thing. I'm hearing someone say in my ear, oh, why didn't I think about that? Oh, I didn't know I was allowed to do that. Oh, I didn't know someone could do that. Oh, I didn't realize how big of an impact group 1 was making on me until they weren't there anymore. So there are a lot of things that are moving around you right now. There are a lot of people who have their eyes on you. There are a lot of people who are questioning what's going on with group 1. Where are they at spiritually? Where have they been? What are they thinking? What are they saying? What are they planning? What are they doing? There's a lot of energy in your energy. So this next chapter of your spiritual journey, this does have a lot to do with cleansing out energies that not even don't serve you, but just are present, uselessly present. It's one thing to detox the things that don't serve you and are uncomfortable or lessons for you, but there is so much attention on you. There seems to be so much like hype just around you and everything that you do. This is kind of the energy of you can't even walk into the grocery store without people wanting to get your attention. And so because of this, you might be in a place right now where you are seeking solace, but you don't want to feel disconnected, not discrediting the oneness of everything or the peace and connection that comes from looking within, because all things are connected. But this is a little bit more deeply, the next chapter of your spiritual journey is being a bit more hypervigilant with your energy. And hypervigilance might be something you had to learn the hard way. This is something where you get to be picky, not hypervigilant. They can be synonyms, but they don't have to be. I'm getting that group 1, you're entering your picky era as part of your spiritual journey. But this next chapter, it's going to start with a big cleanse. So you'll notice random energies coming back around. Hey, where have you been? I haven't seen you. I haven't heard from you. And they know what they did. They know why you don't mess with them. They know exactly why. They know exactly what it is that they're pretending that they don't know. Okay. And also, when you pull back your energy, you'll notice that people also get removed from your life. Certain ideas, realizations, certain vibes that didn't belong to you, things you were subconsciously picking up as an empath, things like this. They get cleansed out of your system. Some of you might be called towards like taking a vacation, taking a retreat, taking a fast, a few days perhaps in silence, a few days in meditation, going on a retreat, going to the desert, things like this. And this is highly beneficial for you if you choose to do this. Now, I'm hearing fun in the sun. Okay, so this is something where you're being called to look at this next chapter of your spiritual journey as one that is filling you with nutrients and light. And I'm hearing your summer is coming early and then it's lasting extra long. Okay, so allow this to be the case for you as it's not the case for everyone. They're showing me kind of a more drastic seasonal vibe, like this chapter, okay? So instead of having necessarily 4 really distinct seasons, you seem to have like a really long, difficult hibernation winter and a really long, hot, beautiful summer. So it seems that your winter was a little bit more extreme because when you pull your energy back, it's a little bit more extreme. Your energy is a lot stronger. It's a lot more detail oriented, it's a lot more powerful, it's a lot more noticeable, it's a lot more pristine. But when you put your energy out, you are now not just putting your energy out because it's required for you to be in balance, you are actually putting your energy out because it serves you to do so. And so you're being pickier about it. This is the next chapter of your spiritual journey. So group 1, let's take a look into your tarot and see what more details we can. So it seems that the next chapter of your spiritual journey, it's kind of this progression from being, they're showing me a small fish in the ocean to a big fish in a small pond, but the environment didn't change. You did, okay? Thank you, Chad, for moving the sacral crystal here. There seems to be this energy of you progressing through a certain threshold of like the density, size, or amount of energy that you're able to process. So this is taking something that to you once was a lot of energy, once was a lot, once was really difficult to deal with, or there were so many things going on at once, and you were kind of essentially moving up a weight class in your alchemy skills, in your ability to deal with density and or quantity of energy. Now, Chad started running away, and he was really climbing over all of the sacral coins that I have going on here. So this is going to be something that largely asks you to ask yourself the question, how does this make me feel in the short term and in the long term? Okay, so the next chapter of group number 1, Spiritual Journey, is, I'm hearing the song Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson, and I'm getting that this is going to be you doing some things that people wouldn't think to do themselves. That's also why a lot of people look to you for your authenticity, for your uniqueness, for your ideas, for your creativity, because you are the only you. And instead of focusing on themselves, it seems like a lot of people are focused on you. You might be a star. You might be a star. Star can also indicate social media. This is giving me something like, you know, when Ariana Grande did like the ponytail thing and then everyone does the ponytail thing, or like when Britney Spears does the crop tops and then everyone does the crop tops. It's giving, you try to do one thing to be unique, and then because you're the one that did it, everyone does it. And then it's like, well, did she really start that though? Even though the answer is yes, there's like anything that you do becomes popular. Anything that you do becomes viral. And I'm sure this is not news to you at all whatsoever. This is where right in the beginning I picked up on this energy of you affecting a lot of people. This can be something where you sneeze and 50 people offer you a tissue. This can be something where you are literally like in the public eye in some way for some reason. Now we have 3 major arcanas coming out, which means that this is the grounding of a very significant place in your life. This is, for lack of a better term, an opportunity for you to come into your own. Not that you haven't been, but that your energetic threshold is expanding. So this next chapter of your spiritual journey, it has you taking a look at the energies that you've been working with that were once really overwhelming. But you are growing. So instead of having the perception of being a little fish in like the big ocean, you are instead growing to be a big fish in a small pond. Again, the size of the water doesn't change, the fish does. And so we have this switch here. I'm hearing the day everything changed, the day everything got easier, the day everything clicked, the day something started to flow, the day you went viral, the day that something happened. Okay. So this is still in your future. So if some of you, if you're used to going viral, if you're used to having eyes on you, if you're about to release an album and you wonder if it's going to match the last one, this, like, I'm getting your moment hasn't happened yet. So let's see the next chapter of your spiritual journey specifically. Oh, okay. It seems that you have a lot of information that others don't. I'm hearing insider knowledge. So this can be when it comes to ancient civilizations. This can also be when it comes to, I just keep hearing like the industry. Okay. We have 6 of Wands at the back of the deck. We have 7 of Cups with the Strength card coming out for you. So, okay, yeah. Have you been thinking about like writing a tell-all? Or your spirit guides have been asking you to write a tell-all? Or you're being called even just energetically to be a bit more transparent, but like be more transparent and then pickier about your surroundings or something like this that's coming up. Let's see. Yeah, you have a lot of choices. It's like you can do anything that you want with your life, and you've kind of been weighing out your options. This next chapter for you, it's clearing out everything that is literally unnecessary, and then like so clearing out everything that is not necessary, and then clearing out everything that is not desirable. So then you're kind of left with this very specific energy balance of these things are like necessary and desirable. Nothing more, nothing less. And so, from this clean slate, you have an opportunity to then expand your horizons, to look at your options, and this will be something that makes it easier for you to stand up, easier for you to step up, easier for you to step in your power, easier for you to have faith that everything's going to be okay. This is giving that album release date. We see here that the last few chapters of your spiritual journey, like, did not quit. Had absolutely no break. So, this next chapter of your spiritual journey really looks like you are being given an opportunity to express the parts of you that you've needed to refine or hide or feel like you need to fight or work extra hard to keep to yourself. There are energies here about you needing to work really hard for your sovereignty. And so this with the full system cleanse card is indicating that you're going to be stepping into like spiritual abundance, this feeling of sanctity, this feeling of sovereignty, and also this feeling of trusting that where you are now is where you were meant to get to. This is a little bit more destination oriented instead of journey oriented. Of course, you are still on a journey, but those energies where they're a little bit closer to when is something like this going to end? Am I crying over spilled milk? Do I have other options? How can I see this from a different perspective? How can I learn and heal and grow? How can I have more faith? How can I take more action? How can I speak better? How can I be stronger? All of these little finite energies we see are kind of teetering off because there's this energy that's coming through for you, especially with this center of attention energy that's really begging the question of how much of your energy is up for grabs? How much of your energy belongs to you? And the answer is truly all of it. But we also have this energy of someone who is spiritual, who is humanitarian, who is very, very strong, and who would rather take a bullet for someone else than watch someone else go down. And so, with these energies, the next chapter of your spiritual journey specifically, it's going to be about clearing the things in your life that don't serve you because you're an angel, because you have a heart of gold, because you have a pure heart, because you've done the work, and because you deserve to reap the rewards and the benefits of all the hard work that you've done. However, you might feel that there are some things that are being shifted around in your life. Like there are some things that are expanding for you because internally we see you having one more go. They're showing me someone reminiscing on old wishes that they used to have and saying, do I really still want that? Do I really still wish this? And like quietly under your breath whispering that wish one last time, just in case the universe didn't hear you. And while I'm not getting that there's any energy of like hopelessness or despair that's surrounding this, there is this energy of sweetness. There's this energy of that spark still being there, that blossom still being there, that seed still ready to sprout. And we have this energy of having too many options kind of releasing, having so many other people pulling on your energy, so many people wanting more from you. Not that you're not still going to be just as valued, but that value is going to be appreciated. Your worth is going to be seen and appreciated, not just because of its perceived physical value, not because of what you have to offer so others want it, but rather because you are something that deserves to be valued in a sense where you're cherished, because you're special, because you're an experience. You are not just something to barter for, something to trade for, something to have, something to want from. And so when this pertains to your spiritual journey specifically, we do have these energies of internal abundance and a lot of decompression. I'm hearing that phrase, it's quiet, almost too quiet. And so the next chapter of your spiritual journey, group number 1, is going to be one that shows you, look at this, the Fool, the Strength, 10 of Cups, 6 of Wands, that your faith, that your strength, that your desires, that your hard work, your effort is going to be worth it all in the end. And there's this energy here too of expanded consciousness, of Christ consciousness or higher coming through from you. But because of this energy, the deeper that you've gone spiritually, the shinier it makes you. Your internal beauty permeates externally, whether that's skill in a craft, whether it's physical beauty, whether it's a magnetism to your aura, all of the above, something totally different. This next chapter of your spiritual journey is, again, this energy of you not feeling shell-shocked by how much you shell-shock others. And it's not even you needing to understand that there are so many energies out there and we're all connected and you're so small and tiny, so you have to humble yourself. It's quite the opposite. Like your spirit guides wanted to show you in the beginning, group number 1, this next chapter of your spiritual journey is you going from being a small fish in the ocean to a big fish in a small pond. And you might feel like you've experienced quite the opposite. But there is this energy here to remember that you are like a whale shark in the ocean. That's why you feel like a big fish in a small pond. Whale sharks, they're beautiful, they're dynamic, they're gentle. And they're also the largest creature, I believe, in the oceans that we know of. I could be wrong on that. I'm not a marine biologist. But with the full system cleanse, your next chapter of your spiritual journey is you continuing to turn right when everyone else goes left. But there's almost this energy of you finally being left alone, you finally getting to rest, you finally getting to enjoy the abundance, enjoy the consciousness, enjoy, I'm hearing like non-survival mode spirituality. You're not trying to figure out how to get out of a situation. You're not trying to figure out how to break a paradigm, how to break a pattern, how to break a curse or something like this. Rather, you are not trying to get anywhere. You've already arrived. And so the next part of your journey here is about you having arrived and living in this place now. This is a decompression. This is a settling in. This is a realizing that you've made it to your destination. And while you may have expected to be maybe either calling all of the attention or none of it at all. Being, again, we have this energy of almost exclusion versus virality that came out in the beginning. This next chapter of your spiritual journey is about these things integrating with each other beautifully, them dancing together, them marrying together in a way where your daily life changes, your spiritual routine changes. This is not, am I following my intuition? What are my spirit guides telling me I have to figure out how to get out of this pattern, or how to learn this lesson, or what is the karma? This is the spiritual survivalism. It's gone. It's absolutely gone. And so you have this cleanse, you have this abundance, you have this moment. It's kind of reminding me of when you experience burnout. It's not really a 1 day, 1 week kind of thing. It's something that accumulates over a long period of time, and something that also decompresses over a long period of time. And that 1 day, those 2 days that you might need to spend in bed, or you might just want to eat, or you might just be a little cranky, or you might need to take that day off work, whatever that looks like for you, that parallel in your life, this is not something that you settle into overnight. This is something that is a process. This is something that you cleanse, something that you settle into. When you move into a new house, usually everything doesn't get unpacked and put exactly the way that it vibes best with you and your daily routine the second that you get there. Usually you unpack boxes and then you feel the way the furniture goes over here and the way it goes over there, and you learn about feng shui. You add your daily routine into the mix. You see what you end up doing organically in the home, things like this. And so this recalibration, this reiteration of your presence in your spiritual self and in your physical life it's a full system cleanse. And it's showing you that energy again in the beginning that came out of Siddhartha, the Buddha. How the Buddha came to what they call Buddhahood, and then needed to go back and meditate again in order to realize how to spread that message and the chaos that occurred during that period. But then, after this, something strange happened. He was never really meant to teach what he had learned. He was meant to light a candle so that others could see in the dark, should they choose to follow that journey on their own accord. And so there's the sense of liberation, the sense of virality, the sense of also like peace, sanctity. It's giving the energy of a hermit in a cave, a yogi meditating on a mountain, someone in blissful isolation. And it's also giving the energy of a superstar, social media, like a video going viral, a business booming, your album. We have this energy of whatever this is, hitting a place of progression exponentially larger than you've experienced before or imagined before, and it has something to do with a quiet whisper in your heart. Because you are no longer in spiritual survivalism. It's not, how does someone else think about me? It's not, how can I break this lesson? It's not, what karma am I going through? It's not, how can I try to figure out how to manipulate these certain energies so that XYZ? No. This is a place where your sovereignty is honored and anchored. There's nowhere else for you to explore. You've integrated all of it, except for the dynamicism of simply just existing. And this release will take you time to settle into. In this next chapter of your spiritual journey, group number 1, this is you having a few moments where you look back and you realize that you were not crying over spilt milk, that you were a lot stronger than you were giving yourself credit for. It's also you having a few moments of realizing that, yeah, you still do want some of the same things that you did before you went down this journey initially. There are also going to be a couple moments where you look around and you say, how in the world did I get so lucky? I'm so glad I put in that work. How could I possibly be so blessed? I don't think I could get any more grateful if I wanted to. And there are going to be a few moments where you still have stars and twinkles in your eyes, because you look at yourself and you look at your past and you look at where you are, and you see that out of all of the choices, out of all of the options, out of all of the misery and all of the faith and all of the hopes, wishes, desires, all of the nights that you were awake, all of the nights that you were crying, all of the times that you sacrificed something for something else, all of the times that you put yourself second to someone else, all of the times you put yourself first instead of someone else, all of these things, They were exact perfect choices both by you and the universe in order to bring you to this chapter of your life. There is then, and then there is now. In settling into the now, there's this decompression. There's this comfort. And again, there's this energy of exploring both exponential growth, being seen, being the center of attention, being absolutely brilliant in every definition of the word brilliant. So bright, intentionally, intellectually, in brilliance and light, and also so pulled back, so serene. Your energy being everywhere and nowhere at once, elusive, mysterious, ethereal, arcane, becoming one with all that is, becoming the mystery of the divine. So group number 1, that is your message about the next chapter of your spiritual journey. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you. And as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful, magical realm. I'll see you next time, and I love you. Namaste. Hi there, group 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at the next chapter of your spiritual journey, and you selected the second group with the Soul Family card. Connecting with the energy, the first thing that I'm getting is that, yes, you do have permanent and healing soul family on the way for you. And by healing, I mean that either they are come to assist you on the other side of your healing journey, or they are doing the work in order to be at your level, in order to be worthy and deserving of you. Flipping over this card, since this is my Light Codes Oracle deck, each one has a particular code in order to tune in with the purest vibration of this energy, along with codes in order to help you download these into your system. Your next chapter of your spiritual journey. Okay, so your guides first and foremost want to kind of give you a little bit of a unit review, just a smidge. Before moving on, they want to show you that you have been connecting with a lot of your soul family up until this point. But they were very specific. For example, meeting someone who perhaps unalived you in a past life. Now in this life, maybe you are best friends, but there's just something about them that you can't trust, and it turns out that you were right. Even though you had this memory and you're aware that shapes can change, manifestations can change. Someone can be your lover in one life and your best friend in another, and your child in another, and a distant acquaintance in another. This kind of energy. They're showing as well that there might be people who, in other lifetimes, perhaps you were used to caring for them. You took care of them, you took care of them, you took care of them, and maybe in that life that was your role. Maybe you were their parent, maybe you were their sibling, maybe you were their best friend. But in this life, when you meet them, maybe they expect you to take all of their burdens away, and you're like, whoa, that's a little fast, buddy, I don't know you like that. Or they expect way too much from you. Now, these specific scenarios don't have to exactly be the case. But the unit review is saying that you have had soul family come into your life, friends and family of your soul, throughout all of your incarnations, here on Earth, outside of Earth. Say you resonate with being a Pleiadian starseed, you would have connected with other Pleiadian starseeds. But these are not necessarily people that are permanent and helpful for you. These are people that you've known, and for most of you, these are people that you know who they were in your past life, and them connecting with you and being unaware of their own toxic patterns is a lesson for them to maybe begin to remember these things. Now, as we know, past, present, future lives are synonyms for each other because time is always happening simultaneously. Lower vibration equals past, higher vibration equals future, meaning that every single time you give it a go, things get a little bit higher vibrational. Or you do, anyway, as long as you are on the growth journey. This is also why stagnation patterns are possible. Now, getting into the next chapter of your spiritual journey, group number 2, it seems as though you have crossed the T's and dotted the I's in more than your fair share of areas, for yourself and for others. And now you feel that things are a little bit different. Now you feel that you have cleansed and cleared a lot of things that you were holding on to that had nothing to do with you. Realizing the burdens of others, the beliefs of others, the complications and the confusion of others that were not yours, that you saw through to begin with. That because they were around you, because they were in your energy, because you welcomed this soul family as family, you had gladly taken on. However, you can clear on behalf of yourself. And you doing this work for yourself does, by definition, have a huge effect on the collective, since we are all one. However, you are given energies to deal with. Others are given energies to deal with. You each have your allotted amount of karma. You each have your allotted amount of good and bad and luck. You each have your own individuality. And so, if someone bestows something onto you, and you take it, you can cleanse it out of your system. But this does not cleanse that energy, because you were not the rightful owner of this energy. Everything has a place, and everything belongs in its place. But just as sometimes everything in our apartment, everything in our house, everything in our room has its place, but sometimes we pull stuff out to see what did we used to have, to go through stuff, to clean it out, to dust those corners we don't access very frequently. You get the analogy. Everything has a place, but that doesn't mean that everything is necessarily in its place. This next chapter of your spiritual journey, everything is locking into its place. It doesn't just have its place, but it's in its place. This is not to say that you've ever been not on the right path, and this is not to say that you haven't been in the right place at the right time. You have, because these help you to refine the tools in your tool belt. These things help you to grow. And group number 2, it seems like you have learned and grown so very much that you got so used to being a superhero at learning and growing, so that when you were done with these energies, at least in a particular chapter, a particular area, a particular segment, when you healed that wound that you had been working on for lifetimes, now you wouldn't have something to work on for lifetimes if there wasn't a beginning and an end to it, right? So when you close something out, when you finish something, when you're done with that essentially grade in school, if you will, just because your best friend has to repeat that grade, or just because they're a grade or 5 behind you, doesn't mean that you need to help them on their homework, help them with their tests. And even if you are kind, if you graduate, you don't need to still be habitually in learning and growing and healing mode, especially when it's not yours to heal, and especially when you reaffirming something that you already have in your energy field is not going to pick up the pieces for someone else. You can do something for someone else, but they must learn how to do it on their own. You've learned this firsthand, but being the bestower of this truth is not always easy. The next chapter of your spiritual journey does involve your soul family coming into play. But these are the soul family bits and pieces that are able to see you for who you are. That old phrase is very, very true, that others can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. And so areas of stagnation, areas where they will not even be able to fathom your easy because it is still beyond their hard. Energies like this will no longer be constricting you into translating yourself for others, will no longer be constricting you into the quality of life you're able to have, the quality of people around you. And you might say, well, this is a really cool person, and we love each other a lot, but they just can't see me. This is the energy group number 2 of everyone feels like you are their soulmate. Everyone feels like you see them more clearly, more deeply than anyone else, because they see how deeply you know yourself. They see how deeply you know your connection to yourself mirrors your connection with the universe or God or source, whatever terminology you wish to include there. And that also directly mirrors the connections that you're able to have with others. Now, here's the thing. You really know the universe. You really know yourself. You really know others. But this next chapter of your spiritual journey, it's letting others know you. And they have to be at a certain level in order to understand this. And to mirror this back in other ways, this is letting God know you back, letting the universe learn you back, letting yourself learn you back. And this is interesting because it starts with an energetic field going outward, you getting to know yourself, you learning and growing and learning the ways that you behave, learning the ways that you think, learning the ways that you process, learning the things that are active for you, the way that you work, what works best for you, etc. Now you're learning yourself with the energy going the other way. So what are the things that you like? What is your favorite flower? You deserve better than that because you've already learned the other side of this lesson. You've taken everything out. You know where everything belongs, and you've taken everything out. You've cleaned up all the corners, you've gotten rid of the things that don't serve you, the things that don't belong to you, you've given back to their owners. You've cleaned every single corner. Now you're putting everything back where it belongs. And, of course, a couple things shift, like maybe instead of color-coding your bookshelf, you want it to go by the Dewey Decimal System. But nonetheless, these are interpretive by you and you alone, letting the universe get to know you back. This is also calling in soul family of yours who are able to see you from your level of consciousness. And this group number 2 is where you're getting the cream of the crop, because group number 2, you are the cream of the crop. This next chapter of your spiritual journey involves it being seen that things have been full circle for you for a while now. They're showing me someone who completes a puzzle, completes a maze, completes something really difficult, but you don't know where to go after you complete it. You look around and you don't see anyone you don't see anywhere to check in. Oh, I finished, and then they check your work. You don't see anyone who's saying, oh, good job, here's your medal. You don't see anyone who's saying, oh, I also finished, let's go sit and wait for everyone else together. Like, you're the first one to hand in the test. You're the first one to finish the puzzle. And so, Spirit's showing me you wandering around, helping others with their puzzles, watching their progress, wondering why you're done so much faster than others, why your growth is so much more exponential, why it's faster, why where you're able to get to in this lifetime seems to be so much further than those around you, trying to wonder what it is about you. You know that old phrase, if everything in the world is the problem except for you, it's most likely that you are the problem. But see, here we have you taking this approach to everything in life, being the reason why you finish the puzzle first. Because your job is not to fix yourself because you were broken. Your job is not to better yourself because you weren't good enough. But your job has always been to take accountability and responsibility for yourself. It has always been to learn. It has always been to grow. It has always been to try and do your best. Integrity, vitality, remembering the immortal, universal source consciousness that is you. But now that universal source consciousness has become you and wants to get to know yourself once more. And so now you have soul family coming in that is going to reiterate this connection. And so you might find yourself getting asked more questions, and less from, I'll just say the word monitoring spirit type vibes. Your relationship to that belief is different. Just understand the term is what's coming out. So this is a little less of what is group 2 up to. We have to know, because then we can cheat on our test. Then they can take care of us. Then we can stab them in the back again. Then we can put them down. We can have what they have. We can tell people that we know them. No. No. People want to know what your favorite flower is. Not so that they can buy some and tell everyone, you guys know this was my favorite flower first, but so that they can go surprise you with them one day, because you've had a long week, and because you do so much for yourself and others, and because you deserve to receive those flowers. Before we get into the tarot, there's one last message that wants to come through this light code for you. And I'm hearing to tell you, to remind you that really, truly, no matter what situation, no matter what person, no matter what friend, family, karmic, past life, friend, soulmate, twin flame, whatever the heck, love is all you need. Truly. And I want you to remember that no matter what. Because when you deal with others, you deal with yourself. And that doesn't mean that you are where they are. It might be so much easier for you to see how much you've grown in ways that others have not. Simply because you've walked through them. Not because you're projecting. but this will cause projection of others onto you. You've already learned something, so you have a higher vision. Yeah, but that person is older than you. Yeah, but that person has more money than you. Yeah, but that person is of a higher social status than you. Yeah, but that person is louder than you. Yeah, but that person has more of an audience than you. It doesn't matter. Love is what matters. And that is a thing that will always, always tell the true, unyielding truth. It is love. And energy never lies. So let's get into the next chapter of your spiritual journey a little more into depth by pulling out your tarot now. So actually, I didn't do this for group number 1, but I feel guided for you, specifically group 2 with this energy. I'm going to pull a couple cards from my mini oracle. This one isn't released yet like the others, but I felt called to use it for you guys specifically. It's time to receive. Oh my gosh, look at that. I knew there was going to be a message specifically in here you needed to hear. It's time to receive. But here's the thing, they're showing me, like someone's saying, okay, close your eyes and put your hands out. And so you do because you trust them. But then they hand you something that's like dangerous. They hand you something that's pointy. They hand you like a weapon or something that is not nice. Not something that you would want to receive. So now, when someone says, hey, close your eyes and put your hands out, you say, I'm not closing my eyes, or absolutely not, or get away from me, or I don't trust it. Okay? But it's time to receive, and what you're receiving is as beautiful as what you put out there. Okay, unseen factors. Okay. One more? Okay, there's one more here for you. So this next part of your spiritual journey is really going to be showing you how much of the fine details, remember in the beginning we had that crossing the T's, dotting the I's energy, how much of those fine details were really worth it for you to do. You might be seeing a lot of people kind of guesstimate maybe along their spiritual journey, along different chapters of life, along different things in general. You might be seeing a lot of guesstimation, and you might be seeing that guesstimation take them a lot further. But you're crossing the T's, dotting the I's. You're not doing anything incorrectly. You are making sure that you are, you're doing the more difficult equation, and you're making sure that it's correct. Why? Because when it comes time that it matters that someone knows how to do that difficult equation so that it can be spread out later through the masses, or that people can start to learn more advanced mathematical formulas, guesstimates really don't cut it. Someone might be able to show, like, oh, look, I filled out a page. It's like writing a whole page in a language that you can barely speak. It might be great, congratulations, you did it, but if you don't actually know the words, if you don't actually know the language, if you don't actually understand what it is to be said, a native speaker can't look at that and really read what it's trying to say. And maybe they can put it together, but it won't be conducive to help other people learn. It won't be correct. And so there's this thing for you where it matters if it's correct, and it doesn't matter for others if it's correct. So there's this energy of remembering, okay, that the unseen factors have a lot to do with your precision and your accuracy along your journey. That's why for you don't have to guesstimate picking the lock and then kind of break it and then get through the door. You have the key because you were able to decipher what it would be. You had to learn how to make a key. Like things like this. You didn't have the luxury of guesstimating and aligned timing, and it fell out facing the future side with its time to receive here. So there are a lot of things you were told divine timing, and you probably learned divine timing is not some ethereal external concept to you. It is your timing when you are ready. So you're like, why am I ready? Why am I not ready? How can I get ready? What do I do? Is this meant for me? Is this not meant for me? Do I want this? Do I not want this? Back to the receiving other people's projections, receiving spiky balls from other people instead of nice fluffy flowers, receiving things that make you want to sleep with one eye open, and still hearing aligned timing, and then watching people ask you what's your favorite flower, and then telling everyone else that's their favorite flower so that they can get that out there first. And then everyone starts filling them with their favorite flowers when really it's your favorite flower, and you're not receiving flowers they are, and they don't even like or appreciate what they're receiving. Such a nuance here. But we have aligned timing is now. Why? Unforeseen factors. They weren't unseen to you. And that is why it's time for you to receive, because these factors were not unseen to you. They never ever were, but they were unseen to so many. This is the energy of someone like, how are you kidding me? How are you not seeing this? How are you not able to read? Like, if you really know this language, you should be able to look at this and see that it's not correct. If you're really a calculus teacher, you should be able to look at this simple quadratic formula and see that it was solved incorrectly. If you can't backtrack it and check your work, then that lets you know there's an error somewhere. Why is nobody looking at this? Why is nobody checking it? Things like this. And so, this next chapter for you, it's time to receive unseen factors, aligned timing, group number 2. It's exactly what it says here. All of those things that you saw that no one else did. The benefits of you not cutting corners, they're coming to fruition. And this is going to be, you're going to be able to check your work. You're going to be able to prove it. Like, this is beautiful because we're using the light codes, and this is also like a geometrical idea too, right? You solve an equation, you solve a formula, but what is it called? It's called a proof. Why? Because you prove why this is the correct formula. And if the proof doesn't work, then you can't prove it. And so whether the answer's right or the answer's wrong, if you can't prove it, then there's no reason why you should have gotten that answer, geometrically, anyway. And the thing is, the answer can be wrong and the proof can be wrong, but it's still there. And so, with you, both are present, and it's correct. And those are like 3 different points, 3 different parts, like a triangle, that many don't even have to begin with. You're telling me not to take these, but to look at them. 9 Pentacles and King of Cups. This is my graphic tarot, for those of you who are interested. I like to travel a lot, so when I do, I like to take I made these little baby decks so that I can take them with me anywhere I go. Hence the mini oracle and the mini graphic tarot. Okay, we have 6 of Wands. Beautiful, beautiful. And the Lovers, okay, 66, the number of unconditional love. Also, the grounding of this, 666, the number that scares everybody off the rocker. It's kind of beautiful because this indicates that so many would be afraid to go to the depths that you have been. So many people are afraid to have that correct, accurate answer. And so they kind of know in the back of their mind that it's not accurate. The next chapter of your spiritual journey for you, this is relieving a lot of stress and pressure off of you and going back to this idea of soul family, calling in people who want to see you succeed at what you want to do, as opposed to wanting to see you succeed if you bring them with, wanting to see you succeed, so let's put together something that everyone is comfortable with you working towards. No. This is your choice, your sovereign decision in life. This is the universe getting to know you back and serving this up to you on a silver platter, which is a lot more difficult than you putting together what the universe asks for of you sometimes, because you are getting to know yourself through the universal truth. Now the universe is getting to know you back. And it's like the universe has a love offer for you. The next chapter of your spiritual journey is going to be you, like, when did this get so easy? Okay, not because the spiritual journey is easy, not because any amount of effort is easy, but because when you stick to the truth and you know. They're showing me something that I channeled on TikTok a really long time ago. And it's, who are you when your back is up against the wall? Who are you when you fall to your knees? Who are you when there's nowhere else to turn? When everything falls to shit, when everything's taken away from you, who are you? Your back's up against a wall, you're on your knees. Do you fight? Do you cry? Do you pray? And there's not a right or wrong answer, but it's this. It's exactly this. It's who are you? Who are you in these moments? What is your core when things are difficult? What is the darkest, deepest part of your shadow? When all is lost, what do you still have? Who are you still? Who are you then? And so here we have this next chapter of your spiritual journey as almost an homage to you. An homage to all the times that you were, when it looked like you were about to be defeated, but instead you knew that it was all just a matter of time. All the times when you saw the ways that people in past lives deceived you and they would do it again until they realized that lesson that they still wouldn't learn, and you were able to see it, but you were still called to enter yourself in the situation anyway, because you are the harbinger of truth. Because someone needed to see that geometrical proof on the chalkboard behind your head. They're showing me on October 8th, he asked me what day it was. But it was that. She was so caught up in her delusion that she didn't see the chalkboard behind her head. But because she was so behind, like, Aaron Samuel's head, this is a Mean Girls reference, obviously, but because she was so caught up in her delusion, she had such a vivid memory that included the chalkboard behind Aaron Samuel's head, and that is the very thing that she needed to win. And so you, being someone's proverbial Aaron Samuels in this moment, seeing beyond someone's delusion. Say Aaron Samuels is like an oracle, a psychic, I don't know. It's you. Anyway, group 2. The next chapter for you is about the universe writing you a love letter, the universe giving you your flowers, the universe asking you, what are your favorite type of flowers? What do you want to do on a Wednesday afternoon? What are the things that you like? What are the things that you watched everyone else receive because you were working really hard? When you watch what they do with this, what would you have done with it instead? Would you even want that to begin with? You've learned by observing others receive blessings that you worked for. But then at the end of the day, you learn that maybe you don't want that motorbike. Maybe you don't want a bunch of free things from influencers because you have to write it on your taxes. And if they're not paying you, then that's considered a barter. And it's things like this. You learn by watching others steal from you. But what they do with it, it's realizing that these are blessings, but this is also exactly why you are able to go as fast, as far, as strong, harder, better, faster, stronger than the others around you. This is why you were able to grow so much, so quickly. While others were trying to cut corners, they were putting a barricade in front of their own door outside of the room they didn't realize yet they were locked in. Because they were taking and taking from you, and it filled their capacity. And they didn't understand, they didn't deserve, they didn't know what the things were, why they deserved them. And they locked themselves in their own room out of a barricade. Meanwhile, you've been cleaning, you've been organizing, you've been praying, you've been healing, you've been exactly that version of you that you are when you're on your knees. You've been trusting. And so now we have soul family coming in for you. And these are divinely orchestrated. These are angels, like manifest as people in your life, manifest as situations in your life that are observant of what it is that you want, aware that you know what that is for you. Not that you think you know what you want, but you don't because you're so young. Thank you for projecting. You think that you know what you want, but you don't because one day you'll learn that. Thank you for projecting. This is you know that you know what you know. Why? Because unseen factors to others, but not to you. You're very well aware that you have been putting one foot in front of the other till the very, very end. And you're about to step through your horizon. You're about to have a moment of life where you get to expand, you get to explode, you get to play, you get to have fun. You get to really embrace all that you've learned spiritually without it being a job that you are taking responsibility for yourself and others. And here we have this energy of people coming in because they know spiritually that you are a caretaker in general, or of them. And maybe, truly, yes, love is all you need. You always want to help someone else in need. You know that good old-fashioned phrase, when you helped your brother or sister in need, it was then that you helped me. Quote God, quote Jesus, quote the universe, quote source, whatever you believe in. But it's this energy. Why in the world would you change this when you're not the one that's learning a lesson, and you're not the one that's being misleading? And so, the energy here, with all of these energies woven in between, it's you never had to change this. You don't have to change this. You put one foot in front of the other, and you realize that now soul family comes in, where they say, what is it that you want? And you say that, and they say, we support you in doing what you want. How can we assist you in the ways that you need help? It's, you're upset. How would you like me to deal with this? Would you like me to listen to you? Would you like me to give you advice? Would you like me to leave you alone? Do you want me to go get you your favorite snacks? It's energies like this. It's the universe asking you, how can I best support you right now? And it's not just the universe to you, it's you to you. And it's your soul family, the people coming in your life, also to you. You might notice that there are some permanent people in your life who are suddenly changing their stance on a lot of things to support you better. You might notice as well that certain people in your life, they just got yoinked out of your life, and others are just getting plopped into your life. But that is the energy that is the same now. It's how can we best support you, group 2? Because they can feel it's time to receive, and you deserve it. It's not it's time to receive, and so you're getting like a ton of these flowers. Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, you wouldn't notice if one was missing, or like you got like 1,000,000 flowers, so it's okay if you get like 999,999, right? Like, no. Yes, you do care, because you earned 1,000,000 flowers. These aren't people who would sneakily take one or ask you for one. These are people who would be glad that you get yours. And hope that you're happy when they get theirs too, but it wouldn't be the same thing because they don't want that same blueprint as yours. They want what they want, and they want you to have what you want. Hence the unseen factors. We're supposed to be different from one another, and we're supposed to love and support each other. And so spiritually, this has a lot to do with you coming to a place where you get I'm hearing the song Island in the Sun by Weezer. You kind of get your island in the sun. You get your happy ending, but it seems like the beginning of a new chapter. And this chapter involves more play. It involves less hard work, but the same type of tasks is what I'm hearing. And spiritually for you, this is you receiving all the love that you never got to receive. When I get cards that I feel called to put over here like this, it reminds me of a pickup note in music. So usually, say we'll start up the Six of Wands, and this is our linear pull here. When we repeat the phrase, we add the Queen of Cups in. Or the Queen of Cups goes in the very beginning, but it's technically outside of the main group. So like this is the section, the segment, but there's like one that's kind of a like hanging off. It doesn't belong in the structured 1 through 8. It doesn't belong in the typical phrase, but it exists nonetheless anyway. And it is part of the phrase. It's just kind of on the outskirts of it. You may have felt for a long time like you were on the outskirts, but you are also that one note, that one piece that makes everything feel like it's falling into place. And when you go back and repeat it, it's not even close to the same without you there. And this is you. This is also you receiving compassion and you being compassion, because you aren't you without your character traits, and those are pure. They're not fake. They are innocent. They're not phony. And you deserve to receive that as well, because you refused to back down, and you refused to write a page of gibberish knowing that someday it's possible that someone who is actually able to understand that might see it, because you refused to guesstimate, because you knew that the equations you were going to be solving later needed you to have a solid foundation. Your easy is everyone else's hard, but your answer that you got was different from everyone else's, because you were not copying anyone else's test, because you had to make sure that you had the right answer to the equation, that you could prove it as well, that you could back check it. And so this next chapter of your spiritual journey, group number 2, this is about everything for you that is good and compassionate and loving and feels good and supportive, really emphasis on the word supportive, that involves the word finally for you. Finally, I get to experience this. Finally, my success is my definition of success and not someone else's. Finally, I get to choose the kind of support that I want and need in this life. Finally, all this hard work has helped to show myself and others how brilliant I really am, how capable I really am, the version of me that I am when I do have my back up against a wall. The parts that are unforeseen to others, where everyone else is crying and complaining to get attention, you had to wear a smile and help everyone else when you were going through things that were unfathomable to them this entire time. Finally, you get to have fun. Finally, you get your time to play, you get your time to shine, your time in the sun, whatever happy is for you. Knight of Wands to the sun. This is galloping off into the sunset with a lover. This can also be having fun until the sun comes out. This can also be meditating and seeing your brightest aligned consciousness. This can be your definition of what that means and being supported into your definition of what that means. And so, you do have people changing their stance around you. You have, I'm getting your guides are going to be a lot more like hands-off in internal guidance, but a lot more hands-on with external factors for you, because you don't really need the guidance anymore. Not that they're not there if you need it, but that they're making sure that you can continue to walk down your path unscathed while you are no longer being like asked questions from the troll at the bridge. Instead, you are following your path. You're being asked, so how can I better support you? Not, so why do you deserve something that everyone wants? Well, because you work for it, and because you have integrity, and because you can see things that others can't, and because this is your calling, genuinely. It's not out of greed. It's out of the universe asked you to. God asked you to. This is your destiny. Who are you to say no to that? as opposed to, oh, that's shiny and I want it, which you've seen kind of compile for others quite a bit till it barricades them. But the thing is, and these people barricade themselves in their room, and that room turns into a prison. They cannot escape. And so they are nowhere to be seen in the pivotal moments for you. There's one more message that wants to come through about this next chapter of your spiritual journey, and this one is important, group 2. When you ask which direction you should go, or when you ask for guidance, at this point in time, instead of receiving a very, very specific download with, make sure that on the day of Jupiter, Thursday, you are wearing the color that aligns with it, green, and you're eating the things, fruit, that allow these energies to expand. And then from here, make sure you go to bed at 7 o'clock so that you can beat the sun down, because it's going to be important for alchemy, Not like this. Okay, you are so tuned in. It's not even funny. Here we have these unseen factors, this aligned timing, the sun, all of this. Now, when you ask, what is your guidance for the day? Or what is your guidance for the situation? You are more likely to be shown a few options of things that would all make you happy, as opposed to very specific instructions and there's absolutely no wiggle room. This isn't to say that sometimes you will need to listen a little harder, listen a little extra, but you'll know when that is. Now, this is more of the universe wanting to get to know you as the version of you that you've grown into by not cutting corners. By learning, by watching the things get taken from you and seeing how they get misused, how they get abused, how they get treated with greed, how they get intercepted instead of received. And now, you're being called to, I'm hearing, befriend what's in front of your face. Because there are some soul memories that are going to be coming to the forefront. And you might feel as though the truth moving forward is a little bit more interpretable now than it was in the past, because you kind of get a little more leeway because you've done extra work. You might not notice this being the same for those around you. So it's important for you to watch when others are stuck in a framework. They must continue following that framework, otherwise they will never break out of it. But don't hold hands and skip with them down the street of their framework because it's confining for you. If that's where you choose to go, remember that you're on vacation. And when you choose to leave, you can, and they probably will not be able to. And it's not for you to do the work for them, what you've learned. So group 2, this next chapter of your spiritual journey is one where you are going to feel permanently supported, more deeply, more authentically supported by those around you in your life. And you'll notice that permanent people, and these will be people that you already know are permanent in your life, start changing their stance in order to fulfill their role of being providers and supporters, nurturers next to, by you, friends, family, things like this. However, those that are friendly and unsuspecting and just not there yet, these energies are soul family in a lot lighter of a way. But trust that they need to continue following their framework so that they can break out of it, and that you'll be able to meet them where they are, but it won't be the same in return. Thus is the way that things go. So this next chapter for you is going to be all about spiritual discretion, about what is it that you want, who is it that you are as a soul. Because you know that you are Source incarnate. And you also know that you are the human being that you incarnated as. And anything in between that has gotten cleared out up until now, because it's noise in a framework that leads you towards cleansing out the noise in the framework. You took everything off the shelves, you cleaned it all up, you organized it. Now you're the one that gets to choose the way that it's going to look, the way that it's going to feel, and you get to walk out of the door when you're done. And you even have a couple less things to deal with and to clean because other people were intercepting your blessings. They were taking your packages off your doorstep. I'm getting to tell you that this is most likely not to occur as much any longer, but do continue to defend yourself. Not because the things around you are unsafe, but because you've learned to keep your eyes open when someone says, close your eyes and hold your hands out, for a reason. Now, you will not be needing this anymore, but there's a reason you had to learn it. So keep that in your back pocket and trust the universe and trust yourself. Continue getting to know yourself and trust that you see the unseen factors, and you'll be able to tell those that don't. So don't listen to them over you, and don't try to make their framework work for you when you see right through it. Okay, group 2, that was a message about the next chapter of your spiritual journey. As always, I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. If you're interested in any of my decks, books, or journals that I've published, you can find those down below on my Etsy shop, as well as my personal services. I'm so grateful to connect with you here, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at the next chapter of your spiritual journey, and you selected the third group with the Divine Masculine card. Tapping in with this energy, the first thing that I'm getting is that you're going to feel like there's a protective bubble around you. There seems to be an activation that is ongoing for you right now. There may be something where you are being called to have a deeper understanding of your path. You might be called in different directions than you're used to, or I'm hearing something about being reawakened to a prophecy or some sort of vision or something that you were given when you were younger. Now, this is a really interesting message that's coming through. With the Divine Masculine energy, it seems that it's time that something starts moving in your life. It's time that something starts taking action in your life, and for some reason, I'm getting that this isn't necessarily you. Now, there seems to be you behaving the way that you usually behave, you being the you that you always are, you continuing to work on your growth and expansion internally, but the environment around you shifting. Now, this isn't as much of a manifestation kind of reality paradigm altering thing, so much as where you are being put in what looks like you the most internally. This feels a little bit as though you're being put where you are of most value externally. And this is showing up as part of your spiritual journey, because there seems to be something here where you're going to be called to stand in your courage, stand in your bravery, stand in your strength, and also stand in a healed and healthy and ready version of your own Divine Masculine energy. Of course, in balance with your Divine Feminine energy and that balance point center in the heart. This is, again, not asking you to necessarily behave too much differently, but it is asking you to maybe think about what faith means and what courage means to you. I'm receiving the phrase that courage is not the lack of fear. It is the knowledge that something is more important than that fear. That something is more worth it than that fear. Now, this is my Light Codes Oracle deck, so let's flip this over and scry off the light codes and see what messages are here for you. Group number 3, there is quite a bit of energy that is surrounding your root chakra right now. You might be feeling it. You might be trying to find the direction that it goes specifically. For my alchemists, my energy workers out there, you might be trying to find the pathway that some of this energy is meant to go down so that you can kind of sort it out a little bit. And I'm getting to tell you to be a bit more hands-off right now. You might feel as though there's a lot to do. You really want to compartmentalize, organize, shift, push through these energies. But right now, this build-up of the energy is actually important for you. And I'm getting to tell you not to be nervous of there becoming a blockage or some sort of obstacle or some sort of stagnation because of the amount of energy. I'm getting to tell you that this energy is not dense in nature. There is a lot of it, but it's light and fluffy in nature, meaning that when it is ready to disperse, when those pathways, like I'm getting that this energy is swirling around you and activating while the pathways are activating. And when everything is ready to go to its perfect place and go down its individual journey, there are a lot of energies that are working through and around you at this time. And so in this next chapter of your spiritual journey, it seems like a lot of these energies that you're feeling or becoming aware of are going to be working through you. This is, for some of you, if you're not already an energy channeler, this is an awakening of this. Others of you, if you're already a channel, if you're already spiritual or psychic, this is like an expansion to the point of overstimulation, which will not be the norm for you moving forward, but this is also why you're being called not to try to put everything where it goes yet. There is like this alchemization that's occurring through you so that it can occur then for you and by you. Now, there seems to be a lot of really conscious energy that you're anchoring here. There's a lot of opportunity that's coming in for you. And so this next chapter of your spiritual journey is going to be a lot of you putting things in the correct place. This is things like creating systemic change in the world. These are things like allowing yourself to right some of the wrongs that occur around you or in the collective or anything. This is a part of your soul mission that you do not have to embark on. Now, there are soul missions that you are called, that you have to go on in order to learn that it was part of your lesson, in order to learn that it was part of your karma, it was part of your journey. This is next level to that. You have finished what you came here to do, group number 3. You have largely finished what you came here to do, but there's something here where you are being called either out of retirement or you are being given a choice to retire or to step up. Now again, they're showing me something that was shown to you when you were small, something about something that might have been like a large irrational fear of yours, something that might have been a large awakener for you at a young age, something that may have caused you to begin your spiritual journey early or devote yourself to it a little stronger than normal because you had this knowing already of who you've been, who you are, where you're going, and who you can be. Now, what is required of you as a soul, as a being? Progression, internally, externally, all of these things. You are most likely aware that you've completed these journeys, or you're becoming aware that you are about to complete these journeys soon. At group 3, there is still this lingering question in your mind, this lingering fear in your mind, something that you are noticing it's gently becomes safe for you to reapproach. Maybe you found yourself speaking on something to one person one time, but that's a big deal because this is not something that would have come up in your reality up until then. And even then it seemed a bit unsuspecting as to why it's showing up. Now you have the full picture. Now you're being given this choice, and yes, it is a choice. They're showing me, well actually I'm hearing the song Judas by Lady Gaga, but I'm being shown Judas betraying Jesus. And you don't have to be Christian or anything to resonate with this message, of course. But they're showing me Jesus knowing about Judas, betraying him, but still showing up anyway. Judas knowing that Judas was going to betray Jesus and still showing up anyway. It's this, Jesus could have chosen to not allow Judas in once he knew the truth. But he did anyway. And that was a choice. There's this choice of like self-sacrificing for the betterment of the whole versus staying comfortable and loved in what seems like inevitability, even though truly it's not. So here there's this energy of like a prophecy or a vision you've had from a young age. Maybe there's an energy of something that you became aware of in your spiritual journey, or even something from a past life of yours that you knew was bound to occur again. And you're right, it is. No, it's not a coincidence that you chose the Divine Masculine card here, because this indicates a journey that does have a beginning and does have an end, but this also can be translated in many, many different ways, such as your journey, such as this vision, such as this energy that you're being called to act upon. Now, this is something where you're able to see the truth from the fraudulent. You're able to see where one is at, where one has been, where one is going, where one is destined to be. And this is not something that everyone has access to. And we're not talking about the cards, we're not talking about the astrology, we're not talking about the clairvoyancy, we're talking about the soul. We're talking about who are you? We're not talking about I cracked open a spiritual gift and ability today or this week or this month. We're talking about you know who you are. You know exactly who you are. And so group number 3, this next chapter of your spiritual journey is you inevitably standing in the entirety of this power, the fullness of this power, even though it may have been something that you just wanted to retire from, something that you wanted to release, something that you wanted to just say, well, there are enough people trying to figure it out, there are enough people trying to work through something that you've already learned, there are enough people under this illusion, someone will figure it out eventually. And I'm hearing group 3, that phrase, if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself. Group 3, the collective wants it done right. That's why you're being called. So there's something like this that is showing up for the next chapter of your spiritual journey. I really feel the need to just like caress the card. I feel like I'm wanting to like run my fingers through your hair right now and just kind of caress you and tell you that everything's going to be okay. This energy of being held before you stand up and like put your armor on and like boss up. And this is something where you knew this was going to happen. You always knew this was going to happen, but maybe not like this, maybe not so soon, maybe because you finished what was obligated of you, you thought that maybe this part wouldn't occur, even though you already knew. So group number 3, before we get into your tarot, there is one more message here for you. Never forget that what goes up must come down. If you feel like there's unfinished business somewhere, you're absolutely correct. You know exactly what it is that's meant for you. And the reason why it's you is because for you, this takes a little effort. For you, this takes a little brains. For you, this takes a little energy. In fact, you barely even have to bat an eye at it. If this were anyone else, it would be inaccurate. It would take all of their strength. It would take all of their brain power. It would take all of their life force over generations. Yet, you have the answer. You already have it written down somewhere. You already have it noted somewhere. You've already written down the steps somewhere. You already have it written down. Some of you are being called at this time to write down the things that you know that you feel like you shouldn't or you feel like others do not know. You're being called at this point to write down your journey from your soul's perspective, from, yes, your soul's perspective, but write down your genuine experience. Not just the way that you feel today, not just the things that you ate today, not just the conversations you had today, but as a soul. Write down the experience that you're having. This will be more helpful to others when you are no longer here to do the dirty work. And what will take a lot of effort from others will barely take a bat of an eye from you. And it will be done with more precision. Because that's what happens when you call in a master of the craft. That's what happens when enough people pray for you to show up. Now, again, they're showing me Jesus and Judas. Jesus did not have to welcome Judas once he knew he was going to be betrayed. But Jesus was aware that what he was doing was not for them and that he would rise anyway. And again, this is not like Christian propaganda or anything like this. This is just following that story, following this line of energy. This framework is coming up for you as significant. So regardless of your belief system around the story, this energy is what wants to make itself known to you. So group number 3, let's get into your tarot and pull a little more about the next chapter of your spiritual journey. This is my Light Codes Oracle deck, and this is my graphic tarot here. Okay, tell us more about group number 3's next chapter of their spiritual journey. Group number 3, next chapter of the spiritual journey. Okay, you already know, my loves. You already know. I'll pull the information that you need to know since you already know what this is going to entail. Okay, so this one will be framed a little bit differently than the other readings because you're already well aware of what this is. Some of you needed confirmation, or maybe just to hear from an external source that what you're receiving is true, or what you've always known to be true is, and it's not that you needed me to tell you that. It's perhaps that this is something that you've bared alone. This might be like a cross that you bear alone. I don't know why these Christian references are coming up. Okay, but with the Hermit, there's this energy here of like, yeah, coming out of retirement, the Hermit crab, like coming out of hiding, coming out of its slumber. Also, the Hermit is the healer. It's the one that says the least and has the largest effect. It's the one that does the least but heals the most. It's the one that
the most magical. Okay. Ooh, 10 of Cups with the 3 of Pentacles. Okay. I keep hearing the song Judas by Lady Gaga, which is interesting because I keep hearing that and I don't really listen to that song. Okay. We have 9/13. I'm getting that significant for some of you. I'm hearing Wake Me Up When September Ends by Green Day. And there's this element here of that which is unseen to everyone but you. Again, some of you are being called to write down the things that you know that other people don't. Okay, they're showing me Anne Frank's diary, so this is something where, like, during your time, maybe the only one that has access to it is you. But once you are gone, you'll be able to help many, many throughout the ages. And this isn't something where you're being called to be like, hey, look what I'm doing, look what I'm writing down, look what I know, look what I have, look what I'm building. This is, when you think about the term collective, what comes to mind? And that in and of itself is why you are being called to make the difference that you are. Okay. So, contemplating on that a little bit, we have the 4 of Cups coming out. What have you been holding back? You've been holding back. Oh, group 3. You've been self-sacrificing your happiness, your fulfillment because of the greater good. This isn't new to you, this isn't news to you, but this next chapter of your spiritual journey is going to ask you to be brave enough to go for both. It might be really difficult for you to follow your calling and still like lead a normal life parallel to that, or to find the congruencies between them, to let yourself live the life that you want versus the life that you're called to be the person that you want to be versus the person that you're called to be. And these energies are not as conflicting as you might think, but it might take a little bit of trial and error. So this next chapter of your spiritual journey, you're being called not to forget about yourself in the meanwhile. Because there is so much that for you is, again, they're showing me this, like, it requires less energy for you. It requires less effort for you. You already know, which is why you're this person. And because of this, you are the one that is being called. You are the one that people go to. You are the one in this position. No one else. No one else can possibly fill this position. Only you. And that's a heavy burden to carry. And so the amount of recharging, the amount of meditating, the amount of discipline, the amount of energetic clearing, the amount of sovereignty, integrity, because what is asked of you is more, the way you need to behave is also more disciplined. It also holds stronger attention to morals and values and integrity. It also requires more responsibility, more accountability. And so before we get into the rest of the cards, your guides want to come through gently and just say, don't forget about yourself and who you as a human being, as a person walking this earth with a root, sacral, and solar plexus chakra, you as a tiny child, you as a teenager, you as you today, what makes your eyes feel all sparkly? A lot of these things you might feel like you have to put down, you have to run away from in order to fully be the spotless, pristine, pure, morally correct version of you that it requires to walk down your soul's calling. And you're being asked to look this in the face and say that you can do both. It might take trial and error, but you're being called to trust that you don't have to sacrifice your life in order to live the life that you feel obliged to. And you don't have to give up the life that you feel obliged to in order to live your life. That's why there's kind of this energy of the hermit coming out, like coming out of retirement. This energy here. There is much that you see and know that others don't and simply cannot. Incarnations from now, generations from now, would still not have close to access to. And this is why this is a burden that is only yours to bear. But this next chapter of your spiritual journey, this is you being supported in the ways that you need. It's you remembering that the things that are like quirky about you, the regular old-fashioned human things, the emotional things, the things that you feel like you have to hold back from, they might end up being secret, sneaky tricks that you have up your sleeve. But not to even approach it in this way. Okay, the Chariot. Yeah. Things are going to continue speeding up. You might feel like there's been a lot of, or there is about to be a bit of overstimulation, a lot of sensitization on your end, and your guides want you to know that this is going to keep increasing from now, okay? And you don't have to claim like the intensity of your reaction to it. Some of you are like, whew, good, okay, but this will continue to increase. So while you can take it nice and slow and easy, you can ask to take your medicine all at once. Either way, this will be happening. It is inevitable. You've already seen what the future holds for you. And so that's why what's coming out here is a little bit more Group 3. You already know what this next chapter of your spiritual journey looks like. You want to know, are you going to be supported? Are you going to still feel alone? Do you get to be happy? Do you have to give something up? Are you going to receive that, not the light at the end of the tunnel, it's like you are the light at the end of the tunnel, but then where does the light go? You have to just stand at the tunnel the whole time? It's like these energies like this. You want to move forward, but what do you move forward towards? And so the next chapter of your spiritual journey, this is going to be you being shown which actions to take and being given more time and space and liberty and freedom in order to live your life outside of that. Some of you might be feeling called to go do like really random self-serving things, and you are being encouraged not to turn a blind eye to the way that this will actually help. Again, what does collective mean to you? How you can actually help collective as a general term with your own definition behind it, to let yourself help the rest of everyone and everything else to, in a sense, incarnate or reincarnate or remember who they are. This next chapter of your spiritual journey can only be done by you, and that's why you've been feeling a lot of heavier energies lately. There seems to be a lot of knowledge around how special you are, how unique you are, how much you already know exactly what's going to happen, and maybe feeling a little bit tired or bored or burdened. Like if you already see the future and your future and different possibilities and you just get to kind of pick one, then either way you know what's going to happen. Either way you know who's going to behave which way. It's very much like giving this Judas energy again. It's like you already know, but if you're called to do it anyway, you will. And it's kind of this like, yeah, I get it. It's life. This is what happens. You can pick and choose your timeline, your reality, your paradigm, whatever. But either way, you already know. You can weave them together, create your own thing. It's beautiful, it's fun, it's miraculous. But either way, it's like, there's something here about the strength of your energy, the strength of your abilities, who you are as a soul, inevitably being one where you consciously walk through unconscious. You could pick the most conscious people on the planet, put them all in a room together, and you would be able to look at each and every one of them and bestow upon them secrets that they couldn't fathom. And this isn't to show a hierarchy, it's to show that you know exactly who the frick you are, Group 3. So the next chapter of your spiritual journey, this is going to be you seeing rewards from a lot of the past effort that you've made, but also being called to invest more, like I'm hearing the word scrupulously, into yourself in tangible physical ways. And as you do this, you might feel a little bit like this is pulling against the fabric of what you are being called to do. But trust that what you're being called to do will pull right back at you. Do take a little bit more time for yourself to just honor and serve your internal world, okay? Because I'm getting that you know the meditation game, you know the energy work game, you know all of the stuff that's going on already. That's exactly why you're here. You're not trying to find something else. You're not trying to expand into something. You're not trying to heal or grow or learn or go anywhere other than where you already are. You are simply trying to exist here in this realm, knowing that this isn't your home, but it can be, because home is everywhere and nowhere at once. Again, what does collective mean to you? There is this energy of you knowing that you have a choice, but you always knowing what choice you are going to make anyway. There's a lot that's been hidden from the masses, but it was never hidden from you. And that's why you walk the road that you walk. That's why you incarnated as the person you incarnated as. That's why you remembered all of these things. That's why you know as much as you do. You're being called to leave behind some sort of legacy that's larger than what you do for yourself and larger than the impact that you have while you're here. And it has a lot to do with writing or creating or noting in some way your experience of being the one walking this. Because out of all of the change that you're going to make, out of all of the fulfillment you will create for yourself, there is one thing here that others can't hold a candle to, and that is your sovereignty. No one can ever take that away from you, and I'm getting to tell you that many, many generations after you pass, there will be a need and a desire for the things that you were able to see, for the things that you were able to understand way ahead of your time. You are ahead of your time, but that's also why you placed yourself here and now. You are more evolved than your current definition of collective, and that's why you placed yourself in it. You are aware of what is meant for you, and that is also why you placed yourself in a position where you got to pretend for a little bit that that wasn't, or you got to retire, or you got to spend some time with yourself. But with the divine masculine energy coming out, remember that your cosmic consciousness is not one to be messed with. There's a difference between cosmic consciousness and Christ consciousness and super consciousness, and you either know this or you're being called to learn about it when it resonates for you. Your ability to understand beyond the etheric template, your ability to trust that everything around you is protecting you, guiding you, teaching you, showing you. Your ability to consciously place your life force where you choose for it to go, or consciously do things without exerting your life force, is a level of alchemy that many do not get to. You've seen what has always been behind the scenes. You've seen every last moment of your life. You've seen every single part of the spiritual journey that others claim there's no end to, but you've seen the full Taurus time and time again. And because of this, you're able to understand what it is that others don't. And this is also why when something is required to be done correctly for the liberation of a collective, your expanded version of collective, it's something that must be done by yourself. Not alone, but yourself, with your hands and your consciousness and your feet and your awareness. Because as you are well aware, it's not something that everyone has access to. And it's not something that you can just decide to grow after one incarnation or 100 incarnations here on planet Earth. This next chapter of your spiritual journey, group number 3, this is you fulfilling energies that you've already known will come to pass at some point. You maybe didn't know it was now, you maybe didn't know how, you maybe didn't know when. Maybe you did know all along, but you were kind of hoping that things would go the other way. But group number 3, it is now time that you have your own version of the Last Supper. It is time that you now surprise others by reawakening, re-empowering, leveling up, re-emerging, showing your true self. And while you show others what you're truly capable of, the reaction that others have to you is a reflection of them, not of you. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is simply a prioritization of something over that fear. Mainly love and consciousness. So group number 3. One more thing out for you today. Keep an eye out for the numbers 7, 10, and 19. They will be guiding you at this point in time. When it comes to your sovereignty versus what is around you. Energies that are specifically showing you where you are the odd one out. Not in an ostracizing way, but in a way where it's just checking in for you and you alone with this energy. Also, you have a lot of eyes and energies on you right now. Don't fear being seen, but do be careful the ears that your knowledge falls upon. At least until this energy starts redispersing itself. Okay, this is not for you to do. This is for you to wait. Okay, it will happen naturally, and once it's go time, you will really feel it. This is like the precursor to the go time. So take a few breaths, honor yourself, and prepare yourself for what's coming, because you already are aware. This next chapter of your spiritual journey will be something that is unique to you entirely. So, while you look for guidance, write down your experience, because this will be another chapter where you will be providing others with the guidance that you will not have anywhere to find it from. And that's not to say you can't go inside and tap in with your guides and source and energy and your past lives and your consciousness and the cosmic energy and all of this. It's just saying that you might find the tarot readings on YouTube a little dry for what you're looking for. You'll know where to look when you really need the answers, and it will not surprise you at all. For some reason, I keep getting drawn towards the energy of Christ for your reading. I don't personally resonate as being Christian. I don't know if you do, but it keeps coming up, so maybe it's a framework or a blueprint or an aha moment for you later down the line. Take it with a grain of salt, and if it sticks, it sticks. If not, that's okay too. Okay, group number 3, that is your message all about the next chapter of your spiritual journey. I hope this helped shed love, light, and some clarity for you. And as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. I'm sending you all my love, light, and gratitude, and I'll see you next time. I love you so much. Namaste.